Another day, another art lesson, and today we're going to be doing another drawing exercise, and this time we're going to be looking at how we can draw trees. Now, trees, just like every natural form, are all very different, but there are a few tricks we can use to get the basic shapes sorted out. So that's what we're going to have a look at. I'll do a demonstration and then you can have a go. Okay, here we go.
So, as I said, trees, because they're natural objects, natural forms, they all vary, but there are some patterns you can follow to make your tree drawings look accurate. So, first of all, you need to think about the tree in terms of simple shapes. If I was doing a broadleaf tree, for instance, and a broadleaf tree is something like an oak tree or a beech tree, I would think about the proportions of the tree. So it's going to be a big tree. The canopy, that's where all the leaves are, is going to be really quite big in comparison to the trunk. The canopy is going to come down quite a long way. So the trunk is thick and quite stubby, and I've done a basic shape there to represent the canopy. Now I've used quite angled lines there, and a tree doesn't have very sharp angles in it normally, so now I need to loosen it up, and loosening it up it's just the way that you start breaking up those lines. There we go, so that's broken it up a little bit. Now I'm going to put a V in there to represent where the trunk is breaking off into the two different branches. I might have a bit of branch showing there. I might have another bit of branch coming off there, like that. So that's a better shape, but I need to break this area up as well. I'm not going to try to draw every individual leaf, because that would take an awful long time, and actually when you're looking at a tree from a bit of a distance you don't see each individual leaf, you just see areas. There we go. Now I can start developing that further by putting a little bit of shading in on it. So I'm thinking about which side the light's coming. I'm going to have the light coming in from over there. And now I'm going to do a little bit of controlled scribbling to darken up this side of the canopy. If you can hear any buzzing in the background, it's because I think one of our neighbours is actually cutting a tree down right now. There we go, and I'm just going to strengthen some of the edge of the canopy there on that side, because that is the side that's in shadow. Now this tree is completely fictional, I've just made it up. It's always better to try and draw from life, so you're standing in front of the thing you're drawing, or at least you've got a photograph of the thing that you're drawing. But at this time that might be a bit tricky. You might be lucky enough to have a garden, in which case you can get out in your garden and you can have a look at the trees. But if you don't, then please use the internet, look at the images on the internet, or just use your imagination. So that's an example of a broadleaf tree. I'm now going to do a number of other tree drawings, different types of tree drawing, but I'm not going to talk through them. I'll speed the film up a little bit so that I don't go on forever. Okay. there's a few different ways of developing tree shapes. Now, the ones I've done today, they've all been broadleaf trees, like oak trees and beech trees. And in a future lesson, I'll have a look at conifer trees, trees like pines and fir trees. But remember that the important thing is that you look for basic shapes first of all, and once you put the basic shapes in, then you can loosen them up with a little bit of controlled scribbling. Okay. And I've tried to make sure that I'm making a decision about where I think the light's coming from. So here you can see I've tried to darken the clumps of leaves up towards the base of each one to give that slightly three-dimensional quality to it. Here the light's coming in from this side, so we've got the darker side of the trunk there, and then it tends to be darker on the underside of the leaves again and over to that side. And this one again, darker on the undersides, and the light's coming in from up here, so the trunk's a bit darker there. And I just put a little bit of landscape in there as well. And it's all just about having the confidence to just play around with the lines, keep it nice and loose. If it goes wrong, you just work back over the top. You have complete control over how it develops. Okay, so have a go, see what you can come up with. That's the exercise for today. Have a go, and as ever, if you're one of my students, you can send your pictures through to me via my school email, and if you're not one of my students, then use the email that's attached to the bio on YouTube. And don't forget that every single tree is unique. A few trees behind me there, every single one is different. No really sharp angles in those trees, and so keep it all nice, loose and expressive. Have fun with it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.